It divides humanity in believers and disbelievers.
Yeah.
And
Is it
believers.
the Dar al-Islam and the Dar
No, 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 not like that. Not politically. Spiritually, humans are categorized in three categories: believers, disbelievers, and hypocrites. Simple.
Is that mushrikun?
No, munafiqun.
Munafiqun.
Munafiqun are hypocrites, kuffar are disbelievers, and mu'minun or muslimin or muslimun are believers. So this is not to insult or degrade or to put down others. It is simply to clarify who is who, right? It is an identity exercise. So basically, for example, when you sign a form, okay, when you go somewhere, they ask you your ethnic origin, like you tick the box: white English, white European, Pakistani, Bengali, Indian, and the list goes on, right? So it is like an identity exercise. Having said that, then the Quran explains what's going to happen to disbelievers if they don't believe, and what's going to happen to believers so long as they believe, right? And if they disbelieve after having believed, then what's going to happen to them? So the Quran is clarifying that there is no choice, there is no other option for humans than to worship God. We are in submission willingly or unwillingly. Maybe we don't realize it. We are bound by the changing of the day and night. And even in the Quran, Allah, God, He points to that reality that in the changing of the night and the day, there are signs for those who contemplate. So you cannot cause the sun to rise from the west or moon to disappear, for example. You cannot change your seasons. Your climate is not under your control. You may influence it somewhat, but you cannot change it. You cannot change autumn to something else, right? So you have what you have to understand is that you are in submission to God. Okay, either you do it willingly and submit entirely, completely, or you are in submission anyway.
Yeah, that's what Ali said to me. He said, if I don't submit to God, I'll be submitting to something else, like money or power, some other thing.
Yeah, you'll enslave yourself to something else. In life, you'll probably be working for your boss at work. Your entire life will be about that, and that's why people end up getting depressed. They come home, they're not happy. They're not happy. They worked hard for maybe 10 hours a day. They come home, they're depressed because they are in submission to the wrong entity. They need to submit to God. Once you submit to God, you could be working 24 hours a day and you'll be happy. That's the phenomenon. What we call itmananul qalb. In Arabic, it means, translated into English, it means tranquility of the heart.
Would you say that's why so many Muslims who come to this country work hard and they, even though they're working more than maybe other people, they're still...
Well, no. Muslims in this country are not necessarily a good example of Islam. I'm sorry to say this. Okay? And Muslims around the world are not necessarily a good example for Islam. Right? There are exceptions. There are good people. And even in Muslims, there are categories. There are Muslims who are nominally Muslims. They have names as if they were born in, because they were born into the Muslim families and they were given Muslim names. They have no connection with Islam. They don't follow Islam. Then there are those who are semi-Muslim. They pray sometimes, and then otherwise they don't really follow Islam. Then there are practicing Muslims, people who take it seriously, right? Those are the people you need to look at. And even in those, there are examples that may not be so good. So you have to be fair. I mean, we have to be honest about these things, that looking at Muslims may not always lead you to Islam, because sometimes you might find problems there, right? But look at Islam on its own terms, the teachings, the philosophy, the literature. That will show you the reality of our faith, right? And when it is applied, you will see the effects on society. Okay. You will see an upright society, you will see an honest society, you will see people...
So you should be able to see that among Muslims, whether here or anywhere else? Or you're saying that they're maybe not the best example?
Yeah, I'm saying Muslims in this country are as diverse as any other community. They are humans. Muslims are humans, right? So some of them are good, others like look at general British population, English people, let's say. There are good English people, and there are not so good English people as well, right? So not every single English person is the same. So there is diversity in people, right?
I know. Sorry, go on.
Yeah. So Islam stands on its own terms. Ali, you want to take over? Yeah, no. Come back, because you went to pray. So Islam must be understood and appreciated on its own terms. You do not study Islam by looking at Muslims necessarily. That may happen in some cases where you can look. For example, Prophet Muhammad was a very good Muslim. You look at his life, and that's why a lot of these Christian missionaries and Islamophobes attack his character, because they know that's the root.
Okay.
You see, they attack his character.
In Islam, you believe that all the prophets were sinless. Is that correct?
Sinless in the sense that they will not commit major sins deliberately, knowingly. They will not fall into adultery, into intoxication, into lying, cheating, and things like that. They are not like normal people.
Okay.
A normal person walking around will be doing normal things for humans, right? They might fall in normal sins, but prophets are free from that. This is our belief. But do they make human errors? Absolutely, because they're humans.
Yeah.
If they don't make human errors, then they're not humans.
But you believe the Prophet Muhammad was the perfect example?
He was a perfect example of Islam, yes, absolutely. He was a perfect example as a Muslim. He was a perfect Muslim.
And as a Muslim, a human being?
As a human, there were certain points that he made errors of judgment, even errors of judgment, and he was corrected by God. In the Quran, we have verses where God is correcting him. That, hold on, you want this, but this will happen. For example, in one of the cases where Prophet Muhammad really wanted his uncle to accept Islam. One of his uncles, Abu Talib, who was dying on his deathbed, the Prophet was sitting next to him, asking him to accept Islam. Accept Islam, say the Shahada, there's a statement, La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah, that no one is worthy of worship except Allah. And I, Muhammad, I am the messenger of Allah. He said, Ala millati Abdul Muttalib. I die on the way of my father, which is idol worship. The Prophet was very saddened. Allah tells him that you do not guide people you love. It is Allah who guides people. Your job is to convey. Just convey the message clearly and leave the people to Allah.
Okay, can I ask you something? Why do you think, say in this country or any Western country,
Yeah.
why do you think there are so few like white reverts to Islam? Why do you think it's
So many.
quite uncommon?
So many or so
few,
few?
so few.
No, there are. I can turn it around and say so many.
Yeah.
There are hundreds of thousands.
Actually, there was a study that said 100,000 people come to Islam.
So how many in this country, for
As
example?
far as I know, there was studies that 100,000 people come to Islam every year.
In
In
Britain?
the UK,
100,000?
if I'm not mistaken. Or it might,
And majority are
That's a
women.
lot of people.
that is a lot, if I'm not
That's,
mistaken.
Majority are women.
Yes.
70% are women.
3 out of every 5.
And Islam is seen as some sort of oppressive religion.
Yeah.
Women are oppressed in
We
Islam.
discussed that about segregation.
Supposed to be,
Yeah.
right? And ironically, women are coming to Islam in Britain without anyone pointing a gun.
Well, that's the thing.
gun.
I think
And you accept that. We discussed about sexualization of the woman, etc.
Yeah.
And you said Islam has a working model when it comes to the humanization of women.
I saw this video actually where there were girls on the street and they just Western girls or whatever, non-Muslims, and they put a hijab on them and then see how they look with the hijab.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they look-
There's the one where, for example, in New York, it's called Walking in New York. So there's a woman who's dressed up in a not in a hijab, and she's getting harassed, catcalled, and then they put her in a hijab. Now, we're not saying if somebody wears a hijab, they won't get raped. We're not saying that. What we're saying is, for example, like we discussed before, Islam deals with it on a micro level and a macro level. On a micro level is that Allah tells the believers. Sorry? What?
The battery. They want to change the battery. Anyway, continue.
Okay, we'll continue.
So-
It's okay.
What's your name?
So,
My name is Adnan.
I don't know, Luca.
Luca. Okay. Where are you from?
Born British, parents are from Europe.
Okay. Which country in particular?
Serbia.
Serbia. Okay. And Serbia has a very long history with Islam, as you know. You're probably aware.
Yeah, I know
right?
about Bosnia.
Modern and medieval. You know, during the Ottoman period, back and forth, wars between the Serbians and the Ottomans, and then Ottomans came in to take the territory in the Battle of Kosovo. You probably are aware of it. and things like that. So it has caused, you see, there are certain nations in Europe, because they have some history, military history with Islam, they see Islam in that lens, or through that lens, right? Greeks, for example. Greeks have this history of conflict with Islam and Muslims, right? Serbians, similarly, have this. This is why the genocide, in the 90s, one of the reasons why genocide took place was because some Serbian ideologues had brainwashed their military and some of the generals into thinking that, okay, you can wipe these people out. They are not humans. They're not like you, right? They are the enemy. And amazingly, a lot of these people were ethnically exactly the same. They came from the same background, right?
Some had accepted Islam.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we have to put aside some of this history and see beyond this. You know why he's doing this? Do you have any idea?
He's heckling, isn't it?
No, he's not. He's doing it so that we cannot do this. We cannot have conversations. They are here for a reason.
And what did I say to you? Remember, I said the only thing they fear is not we are going to go and blow ourselves up. It's this. This is the biggest fear they have. Dawah. That's what Allah says in the Quran. Strive with them with a greater jihad. And you know what the scholars say? It's talking about the Quran.
But they always portray Muslims as...
Why would a group of people stop talking about their own religion, Trinity, the Bible, and focus on Islam?
Where is it?
Yeah, because this is now, it's two reasons. One reason is that you don't have to defend your false faith. The other reason is it brings money. Attacking Islam, Islamophobia industry pays well. Right.
It's a lie. It's a lie. Don't touch me.
Did you take your medicine?
Leave, carry on.
Anything coming out of
Right.
a Muslim
So
about Islam is a lie.
so anyway, we can continue. Don't worry about it.
Anything.
So
Talking.
coming back to our issue, our question, that there are many people in Europe, not only in Britain, many people in Europe, they are accepting Islam because their current system is not offering anything to them. There are people in Poland, there are people in Latvia, Lithuania, because previously they were completely blind to Islam. They had no idea what Islam is. Now with social media, they are on their phones, they are watching videos, they are reading stuff, and the governments cannot stop that. Okay?
I just asked Ali, what's the attraction of Islam? What do you feel Islam gives you that you don't
What is there
find
to offer to him as an Muslim?
Most importantly, a cleaner life, a cleaner mind, and a cleaner, more rational faith. A way to live, something to live for. Because anything other than Islam fails to provide that. Christianity fails to provide intellectual satisfaction. It doesn't satisfy you.
It's confusing.
It's very confusing. When you read the Bible, you know this is not from God. Any sane person, any honest person. I'm not saying Christians are insane. There are scholars among Christians, right? But sometimes you need to have the sincerity to accept it, right? A lot of these people are not sincere, unfortunately. So you read the Bible with an open mind, you know this is not from God. This is all messed up. This is it's a mashup. It's a mashed potato, as they say, right? It's all over the place. With the Quran, it has a consistent message from page 1 to the page last.
Because I've heard Christians say that in the Quran you have the stories of some of the prophets taken from the Bible, and they would say the Quran, they just have shortened versions of the
In the
stories.
Quran, we have stories that are similar to the biblical stories. They're not the same. They're not borrowed. Because when we look at the details, we come to realize that the Quran, for some reason, somehow corrects the mistakes of the Bible.
And not only that, Ustad, it came to defend the honor of the Prophet. Because if you look into the Bible, it tells you that Lut had intimacy with his own daughters. So the Quran came to defend the honor by rejecting these notions of how the prophets slept.
Yeah,
And
this is the point I was making. In the
Exactly.
Bible, they say the prophets committed some sins.
Yes, exactly.
Major sin, major sins.
Major sins. The Quran came to defend the honor.
David is getting,
Adultery.
Yeah.
So we don't have that. This is how we know that the Bible has been corrupted. Some corrupt minds, corrupt people inserted their ideas into the Bible. And there is no doubt about that, right? Even Jewish and Christian scholars will admit to that. That there are passages, there are parts of the Bible that have been interpolated, right? So now what do? We have two choices. Either to continue following the way that was given to us by our ancestors, or we rethink our existence. We rethink our entire life. Is this the truth? Is this the way to God? Firstly, God exists. We cannot escape from that. There is no escaping from that. If God exists, then which way is the clearest, the easiest, and
Can you go away?
he's not going to go away. He's not going to go. He's not going to.
Are you a Christian?
Culturally Christian. But now I'm agnostic.
As a Christian, how do you see that coming from another Christian?
But he's not a Christian.
No, culturally, but as a human being, when you see that, does that show you how strong Christianity is?
He's just
Why does someone have to? You know, we're having a very calm, decent discussion, a conversation, right? And we're not promoting any violence, any evil, or anything like that. Why is he so upset? What makes you? I mean, have you thought about it?
But you know what?
Why would someone come here on Sunday
But you know what he
to
said?
do that?
You know what he said? He said, I actually find it very interesting
Yeah.
why all these people come together against Islam.
Yeah.
Like the ex-Muslims, the Christians, the atheists, like they all come together against Islam. And he found that, like, what is it that in Islam, and this is what we're trying to say, when the truth is spoken,
People are against it.
Yes, because they know it's the truth. And they don't like that. And that's the reason why God Almighty in the Quran mentioned this to the prophets. Because warning him, they are going to come and kill you. And that's exactly what the pagan Arabs attempted. And he had to run away. Because what they would do is they would try to mock your message. Then they would try to stop it. Then try to come
This
and
happened to our prophet.
Yes. And
When he was preaching, there were people, they would come and do exactly this. They would do this. They would shout on top of his voice so the people cannot hear him, right? This is we believe just as Allah is consistent with his message and his people, Satan is also consistent with his methodology and his people. Okay, this is Satanism. This is pure
Tell me
Satanism.
something. Within an Islamic country, he would not be free to do something like this, for example.
Absolutely not. I wouldn't be free to do that.
Yeah.
If I was going, look, we don't claim if there is such a thing called Islamic country. I believe it doesn't exist. There is no
Muslim
country.
majority
There is
countries
no
where
country in the world that implements the law of Islam.
Not even
Okay.
Pakistan or
No,
Saudi Arabia.
absolutely not. This is one of the greatest misconceptions. They are secular countries. They are following the Western model.
Because I mean, it's called the Islamic Republic of Pakistan.
But these guys who killed innocent people say we're Muslims.
If I
ISIS.
call myself Mr. Olympia, do I look like Mr. Olympia? If I put a badge on myself, Mr. Olympia, you laugh at me, right? Likewise, if a country calls itself Islamic Republic of such and such, it doesn't make them
That should mean that Sharia is a part of the constitutional law of the country, or the penal
only
code of the
nominally.
country, or-
Nominally, it's mentioned. It's mentioned, but it's not followed. Constitutionally, if you look at the law, it's the British law. In Pakistan, the courts are running by the British law. They don't follow the Islamic law. It's not an Islamic country as such.
Because I mean, the controversy obviously is now, about the blasphemy laws. So I mean, that would be from.
He's gone tired, huh?
Islam.
Oh, he's drinking water.
Laws related.
Drink
to
more,
blasphemy.
drink more.
Like,
You need it because you're not doing anything to us.
I mean, okay, what is the Islamic response to the lynching of that man in Pakistan?
What is that?
To that man who was murdered the other day in Pakistan. What is your response?
Islamic position is very clear, which we made it very clear online that this is barbarity. This is just like the guy walking into the mosque and spraying 50 people in New Zealand, right? These are a bunch of.
So why did those people do that if they're Muslims? If they're Muslims, they should be.
They are ignorant.
A higher
They,
example.
just like a crowd of racist people. You must have seen a mob of racist people. If I walk in there and I start saying things they don't like, they're gonna kill me. Any mob in any place, anywhere in the world, a mob is a mob. Okay, mobs.
It's not exclusive to Islam. Like I said it before, if I go to a white nationalist area and spit on a picture of Churchill, they're not going to say we would defend
Islamically speaking, there is no mob justice in Islam. The crowd cannot become judge, jury, and the executioner. Okay, even vigilante justice, it doesn't exist in Islam. If you kill someone, having accused them, you will be punished
For murder.
in return.
Yeah.
It's murder.
It's murder.
Even if the person was, let's say, he raped someone.
Yeah.
If there was a guy who raped someone,
Yeah.
right? If you try to save a woman while the guy is raping and there's a fight, there's a scuffle, that's a different matter.
Yeah.
Okay? But if you if it's a cold-blooded murder of someone, you will have to answer to the court, right? So Islam does not promote vigilante justice, mob violence, or mob execution.
Is there a death penalty for blasphemy or for apostasy?
It depends where you are. If the law of Islam is applied in a country entirely, if it's ruled by it,
But is it then
right?
in the Sharia
Then
or-
yes, it's there. I mean, academics have talked about it. If you want to know more about it, Western academics have written books on the Sharia law.
I mean, it's just I'm very concerned. Like, if I became a Muslim and God forbid, I said something against Islam, could I theoretically, or in a country with Sharia, I could be executed?
If you went public in an Islamic domain, here people are always talking about Islam and cursing Islam and saying all sorts of evil things about Islam.
Yeah.
This is the West. This is Islamic law doesn't apply here. It's not applied here. But if you were in a Muslim country, and if you went in public attacking Islam, the Prophet of Islam, forget about the law. The mob, exactly. Unfortunately, that's the no, that can happen here.
but-
That can happen here. If I
Yes.
publicly stand up somewhere
my point.
and insult the sacred
Let's say in Russia, you insult Putin.
no, Putin is not sacred.
No,
But you'll be picked up by the intelligence. That's a different matter.
No, what would the Russians do to you?
Yeah.
No, let's be real. The thing is, this is not
It depends where you are in
Like I
Russia.
said before, this is not exclusive to
As
Islam.
somebody
Try
control
this in a
you.
predominantly Christian Orthodox country, you'll get the same results. Go to a black community and use the N-word, you get the same result. Go to Israel and say, Israel is this or that, you get the same result.
By the way,
So why do you think, like, here in
Wait.
Speaker's Corner, anyone can pretty much say whatever they want?
you can't. You can't. That's a misconception. No, you can't.
But I'm
In
saying
Speaker's
pretty
Corner,
much-
even here there are limits.
I know.
Even here we have blasphemy laws.
Yeah.
But they've not been implemented since.
Let me tell you something.
60s or
Let me clarify something. There are blasphemy laws everywhere in the world, in every single society. Every single society has sacreds.
Okay,
You
let me
cannot
put it this way.
insult.
If in this country, I know a Muslim wouldn't say it, but say someone else said something against Jesus Christ, nobody would do anything.
So
Okay,
nobody follows-
here in this country, if you said something about the Jewish people, you know what's going to happen? That's the blasphemy law.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
That's blasphemy. Okay, call it anti-Semitism, call it X, Y, and Z, call it green and blue. Call it what you like, but it is a blasphemy law.
What about
It is a law that restricts your freedom to insult someone, right? Do you
I know
agree?
The Jews are like a protected class.
What about
You
LGBTQ?
can't-
No. I mean, I can give other examples. If you insult homosexuals,
Yeah.
Right, yeah,
okay,
that's another example.
that's a blasphemy.
Yeah.
That's blasphemy legally speaking. Okay, call it. You can call it what you like. You can give it a name that is not blasphemy. You can call it. You can call it a beautiful.
Tree.
A beautiful fairy. Call the law beautiful fairy law, right? You can call it with whatever name you can. You want to
So
give
what
it.
you're saying, there'll always be blasphemy laws in.
I'm saying I'm making a claim today. Every single society, every single human community, every single country, every single land in the world has blasphemy laws in place.
In some form.
They just
In
call
some
it-
form
they
or
just
the
call
other.
it something else.
They call it blue.
Yeah.
They call it blue fairy.
Illegal.
They call it eagle law.
Illegal.
They call it illegal.
What you're saying actually makes sense because the word blasphemy, I think it comes from Greek. It doesn't specifically mean saying something against a god or a deity.
It means
actually
prohibition. Yeah,
They used
some-
to say blaspheme the king. For
Yeah.
example.
Exactly.
Speak against
There you
the
go.
state.
So what we're trying to say is, it's not exclusive to Islam.
So if you blaspheme the Jewish people here, you're a blasphemer. If you blaspheme the homosexuals, you're a blasphemer.
Yeah.
If you blaspheme,
No, but if you blaspheme Muslims, it's okay. Freedom of speech.
that's the blasphemy which doesn't exist
Yes.
basically. It's blaspheming the Muslims.
Yeah, you can get away with that.
Yeah.
Freedom of
Yeah.
speech.
Yeah.
In this country.
That's the hypocrisy.
You see, Charlie Hebdo in France blasphemed the Muslims, even the Jewish people. Charlie Hebdo has been mocking, but you cannot mock Macron.
Yeah.
That's blasphemy.
He sued
Because
someone
when
who
they
drew
did
him
that,
as Hitler.
Macron he was planning to take them to court.
He sued someone who drew him as Hitler.
Yeah,
He took him
yeah.
to court.
Yeah.
Those fingers.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
Listen, you're ready to accept Islam. Repeat after me.
Listen, it's great talking to you guys.
Thank you so much.
When I go on the internet,
Yeah.
I see so much, I wouldn't call it slander, but a lot of people attacking people like yourself or Muhammad Hijab or yourself. And I'm like, whenever I see like hate directed at someone, I'm like, okay, I want to look deeper into this. And speaking to you guys, you seem to be honest. You're being
it is making us stronger and stronger. Okay, this makes us stronger. This doesn't put us away. This doesn't take us away.
It helps our cause. The fact that you said, because it's human psychology. Whenever you see an oppressed group or someone who is being continuously, you think why? And that's the reason. But this is why Allah says in the Quran, the disbelievers, hostile, they plan and Allah's the planner. And Allah plans, and He's the best of planners. So what they do by attacking us, all they're doing is getting genuine, sincere people like you to be like, hold on a second, why
They get more
I
curious.
wanted to ask you about that because one of their arguments, they say that word, it means the best of deceivers. So what would be
No, that's the wrong. The best of planners.
Yeah.
Okay, the best of planners. Wallahu khairul makirin means Allah is the best of planners. They plan and plot, and Allah also plots. Allah plots.
When you use the word plan or plot, they would say the correct translation is deceives. So
No.
deceive means you're telling
Arabic
a lie.
language is more dynamic than one particular choice made by the Christian missionaries and Islamophobes. Because what they do is they pick one meaning, which might be the most viciously, sounding.
Most negative meaning.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, please correct me, Ustad, that I don't know if it's like deceit plot, but let's put that in context. Because what we say is every name that we use to God doesn't mean it's an attribute. So for example, we call God Almighty, most merciful, the very merciful, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Yeah, that's His name and that's the attribute of Him. However, there's specific names that is used for God. For example, let's say He's the one, at that instance, He plotted against the disbelievers. We don't call Him the plotter or the deceiver.
Al-Makir.
Yes.
We don't call Allah Al-Makir.
Exactly. So what it is, we learn this in Aqidah that, for
Why not,
example,
if it's a good
let me
thing?
tell you, no, let me tell you why. When a police officer goes undercover to expose the mafia, he's going undercover and plot for the evil people. Yeah.
That's a plot.
Is he good? Is he doing what he's doing? Is it good or bad?
You mean if he's like going undercover,
Undercover.
joining the
Wait.
plot or whatever?
Firstly, two things. Can plotting be good?
It can be good or bad.
Thank you.
Deceiver is just negative.
Exactly.
Yes.
Even I'm going to go far. I'm
Yeah.
going to go further. Even deception can be good.
Yes.
Sometimes deception for a greater cause.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not saying the Quran uses that term.
You're not saying
I'm
Allah is a
saying,
deceiver.
yeah.
This is a
I'm
very
not saying
good
that.
point because I read, I think it's in Sahih Bukhari.
Yeah.
It says you shouldn't lie, except to for husband and wife.
Yeah,
Three
three things. Yeah, in war, okay, to basically give your enemy another impression, right? A different impression. Okay, that kind of, okay, or making up between husband and wife, or making peace.
Between friends.
And otherwise, it is absolutely haram in Islam to lie.
Because the Prophet ﷺ said
Yeah.
a believer is anything but a liar.
And we call it white lie.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, innocent lie. For example, your wife has cooked. She has cooked. You go home,
And it's too salty.
and it's disgusting. What you eat is disgusting. Okay,
Can I say it's lovely?
Yeah.
No. You in that case, it is not. It might be breaking her heart if you tell her the truth that this is disgusting. Can you, So you say, oh, it's very nice. Thank you so much for your effort, because she's made an effort. Okay, there are two kinds of people. One will throw the plate on the wall.
Yes.
What is this? Yeah, I can't. Yuck, right? The other guy who is following Islam, okay, he will lie. He will lie. He knows this is not true, right? But he will, to win her heart, to thank her for her efforts, he will say, thank you so much for cooking for me. It's beautiful. I really love you for it. Now, the first situation is true. He's truthfully angry. He's truthfully reactive, right? Or reactionary, right? But that truth is damaging. That truth is breaking someone's heart. So in this situation, this is not considered a lie.
Exactly.
Okay, it's considered courtesy.
Yeah.
It's considered courtesy.
If he has a dispute with someone else and they're not talking, and I come to him and say, you know what, I was with that guy and he was praising you so much. He was saying how much he loves you. So he's like, really, did he say that? I was like, yeah, man, he loved you. And I said, it's just to
Bring
reconcile.
people together.
Exactly.
So you said it's between in war, between a husband and wife.
But unlike the Christians, we cannot lie to bring people to our faith.
Yes.
The Christians believe that.
Oh,
they
and-
do that.
and also-
They actually lie through their teeth to keep people away from Islam or bring people to their faith, right? And this is from Paul.
Yeah.
This is Paul's. To a Jew, I become a Jew. To a Gentile, I become a Gentile. In order to bring people to
and to the Roman, I become a Roman.
Yeah.
But also, in an instance where if your life is in danger, so if someone says, "Praise my God," otherwise we're going to kill you. You are allowed to lie to save your life. So you get what I'm trying to say? In compulsion, like if they say, "Praise Jesus," say He's God, or I will kill you.
And does that extend to things like if you can't get halal food, you can eat haram food?
No, that's if you're in a situation life and death. You can eat pork.
No. That's when you have nothing else to eat, and you are given pork. You can only eat as much as necessary for you to live.
Not delicious.
Yeah, no. Any believer can't even. So it's one of those things.
Yeah.
These are extreme circumstances whereby rulings change. Sometimes rulings change due to the circumstances. But under normal circumstances, you have two options. You have beef, you have lamb, and you have pork. It's absolutely, utterly haram, forbidden, prohibited to eat pork. And this is more biblical than what the Christians are doing.
Yeah.
If you read the Bible, pork or swine meat is absolutely forbidden in the Old Testament.
Yeah.
Jesus never ate it. He abhorred it.
Yeah.
And Christians are yummying it.
Yeah.
You see, yummy. Okay, there are pork chops, there is bacon, there is black pudding, all sorts of different dishes. Christians enjoy them. So this is why we say you're not following Christ. Stop pretending as if you're following the Christ. You're not following. You don't want to follow Him. You're following someone else.
That's a gift for us. We're here every Sunday. Feel free to come. It's an absolute pleasure talking to you. Like a sincere man. I ask you to do one thing. When you go home, just pray and say, God, if you're there, whichever religion is the truth, guide me to it. That's a covenant between you and God. God will send you signs. It's upon you to take it or reject it.
You say He will give me signs?
Yes, because now it's like a covenant between you and Him. Ask Him, say whatever is the truth. I'm not saying that from Islam. Whichever is the truth, guide me to it. And watch what happens. It's a pleasure, man. Thank you very much.
Very nice talking to you, Luca. Thank you so much. Okay, pleasure talking to you. I do apologize for this unpleasant intervention or
I love
intrusion.
plans. It might warm his heart to look into Islam more now because of this kind of
Yeah. Thank you so much. Keep in touch. And if you live in London, come around anytime on Sundays.
Yeah, I'll probably be here next week.
Okay,
We're here
no
every
worries.
Sunday.
Thank you.
Sounds good.
Take the devices off. Take the devices off.
Is there any more?
I don't know.
Check your ear. It might be your ear.
Adnan, you recognise me?